Hi all, it's Ruthie. I was thinking about it. I know a lot of very accomplished writers who have brought out heaps of books, and I also know a lot of people who I think are probably going to become accomplished writers, because when I read their short stories or their blogs or bits and pieces they send me, I've got a lot of very talented friends. Anyway, I'm extremely lucky. And a question that comes up sometimes from the latter, the ones that I think are going to become very good writers, is a really good question. It's, how do I write a story? And the answer to that is really simple, because there is actually a basic formula that if you apply this, you will get a story every single time. It may not be the best story, that takes practice, but if you apply this formula, you will have a story, I promise. So it goes like this. You need a character, you need a problem, and you need a solution. And your character can be absolutely anything. It just needs to be something that you give a sense of feeling to. So I'll show you how this works. We play this game. This is how you learn to write a story if you're struggling with it. We're just going to randomly pick something out in the room, and I'm going to take this china teacup that my nana gave me. And I'm going to give it feelings, because otherwise it doesn't work as a character. But we're going to say about this teacup that it lives on a shelf and it has feelings. But that's not a story. We need to give it a problem. And the problem we're going to give it is that whenever there's a tea party, it's always left on the shelf. And everyone uses all the other teacups, but they don't use this particular teacup. So now we have a character, the teacup, and we have a problem. It's always left on the shelf. In order for this to become a story, we need a solution. And that's where it gets a little bit tricky. But the solution I'm going to give this particular teacup is, I'm going to say that there was a tea party and every other cup was used. And then this little girl from next door came over to the tea party with a little bouquet of violets that she'd picked out of the garden for the lady whose birthday it was. And there were no vases in the house, so the lady got the teacup and she put the posy in this teacup and put it in the center of the table, and the teacup got all happy because even though it was the last one to be picked, it got the most important job. Now that is a very basic story. Depending on what you pick for your character, that has a big influence on where your story goes. I have a friend called Michelle who has the cutest cat ever called Ellie. If she was to pick this cat for her character, that story would be able to go, I think, probably in a lot more directions than using a teacup, because a cat naturally does things and you can be inspired by that, but you can use absolutely anything. So if you want to start writing stories, you can play this game at the train station, you can play it in your house, you can play anywhere at all. Just start randomly picking out objects and then give the object a problem and then give it a solution, and you will have a story. Sorry about the noise, we've got people doing the hedges outside, it's terribly annoying. Then I got to thinking about this a bit more, this fact that you have to really write any story is the foundational formula, even though there are many artistic expressions you can do with it. The formula is essential of character, problem, solution, and how that gives you a story. And I thought, I think that's also true on a spiritual level, because sometimes in life we encounter big problems, and that makes us a character. And I thought about it a bit more, and I realized, if God brings a big problem into our lives, we need to also know that in His timing, He will bring a big solution. And the bigger the problem you put in a story, just as a writer, the more epic your tale is and the bigger the solution will need to be. And when you get that right, those are the stories that just get told and told and told and told and told for generations and generations. And I don't know that this will help a great deal when people are going through really hard and painful things, but it might help a little bit. That I've found, if you can step back occasionally and get a bit of perspective and realize that you are a character and your trials and your struggles They're the problem in your story. And you will get through them. And God will bring a solution. And when He does, you will be the character of an amazing story that you will be able to tell other people, and that will really help them. I know it doesn't really fix the problem in the moment. I know it's not a huge solution, but I think it can make things bearable. So I say this: in the stories we write, let us be creative. And in the stories God is writing with us, let us be courageous. Have a lovely week. Bye-bye.